Good evening and welcome to Collegiate iRacing League.
Yes, welcome back, everybody, to tonight's edition of the Collegiate Cup Series. But tonight is special because we're deciding the Oval Championship live to you from the virtual Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm joined by my fellow commentator, Edmund Onofre. And Edmund, what a better place to decide the championship than the former home of the NASCAR Cup Series championship? Tell us a little bit about this racetrack.
This racetrack is unique because there's always surprises introduced, whether it's a championship, whether it's the guy in first place for the championship being involved in an accident or some mechanical issue, or just simply an underdog story happening. This is one of those races where you got to really pay attention to it because you never know when these drivers are going to be able to mix it up a bit to get the advantage, or they will mess up on pit road during the race, a little bit of errors on their driving whatsoever. But this is one of those fun races.
This is a very fun race for all the drivers. Homestead Miami is a very unique track despite being an oval. This surface has a lot of character. It's very abrasive on the tires. And one of the neat things about this track is the progressive banking that NASCAR talks about every time they go to this track. The track is slightly more banked at the top of the corners than it is at the bottom. So the drivers who choose to run up high are going to find higher speeds up top and better runs down the straightaway. But you're also going to see drivers taking that lower line to take the shorter way around the track. So definitely some choices to make for the drivers tonight. We've seen a lot of them going in practice, running the high line, the low line, switching between the two, figuring out which one has the better effect on the tires versus pace, all that. So very strategic race tonight as we have still a lot of points to decide in the championship. The championship has already been secured by Jared Kaler on the student side. So, congratulations to Jared Kaler and UNC Charlotte for taking the Drivers' Championships. However, still a lot to fight for, both in the student side and the Alumni Championship is still undecided. A live look at our points coming into this race. Obviously, Jared Kaler is your student champion. But Ryan Fenty, Esteban Munoz, Drew Williams, and Trey Talbot are in a close battle behind for the second position and that third podium spot. Looking towards our alumni side, our battle for the lead comes down to three drivers: Matt Nordberg, Robbie Vrabel Jr., who sits 5 points behind Nordberg, and Colin Culpa, 31 points behind. However, we have an even bigger battle for the fourth position in the rest of the top five between Nick Stockner, Ryan Lusich, Matt Tucker, Jeremy Millerin, and Thomas Toomey. Only 13 points separating those five drivers for the top four, five, and five positions. And a couple of big things, developing news stories as we're getting into tonight. Jared Kaler is unable to join us, but it doesn't really matter for him because he's already won the championship. However, Ryan Fenty, sitting in second place, is also unable to join due to technical issues. So Ryan's championship hopes of securing that second spot take a big hit. He'll be directly challenged by Esteban Munoz, Drew Williams, and Trey Talbot behind him. So, Edwin, let's take a look at tonight's weather. What are we looking at for track conditions?
For track conditions, we're seeing Homestead Miami Speedway at 80 degrees Fahrenheit with 96% of what it looks like it'll be rain or so. I do not know. Maybe chances that there's not going to be any rain, meaning there's 4% likely. But the weather tonight is clear with 2% mile per hour of winds. Obviously, it's not that much of a big factor, but it could still be a slight difference whether, regardless, if you're trying to go into the corner, you feel oversteer or understeer, depending on how much force. That's going to change throughout tonight, but that is the current conditions for this track. And as we go out throughout the night, the track will get cooler, meaning that there's going to be more grip, and hopefully these drivers will take advantage of the cooler temperatures as we progress through the night.
And there you can see already a very, very low track temperature. 83 degrees is one of the coolest tracks we've had this season. But a lot of drivers, especially after what we've been hearing in practice, have been struggling to find grip, especially off the corner. That's been really a continuity between the Gen 6 car and this latest next gen model. Is this track is, like I mentioned, very abrasive on the tires coming out of the corner. So you'll see a lot of drivers struggling for grip here in these opening laps before they get those tires up to temperature.
When you mentioned about the multiple grooves about it and how abrasive this track is, that's going to be a critical role for the progression of this race. These drivers will have to learn which groove is the best for their tires or which group is the fastest, regardless of how much they're putting into the tires. And these groups will also impact which tires give them the best ability to get pace. Because sometimes you can wear out the fronts, depending on which group you go. Sometimes you can wear out the rears even more. It just all about timing. It's all about throttle input, and it's all also about how you drive your car into the corners. As we can see, we're going right into qualifying. Started with Andrew Williams with a 32.950 to begin out of the 10-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, we're about halfway through qualifying now, so let's take a look. Let's ride along with the 55 of Trey Talbot, one of our championship contenders on the student side. He's from University of Alabama, Huntsville, a very prominent member of Charger Motorsports. He's had a great season this far, so hopefully he can put up a good result tonight.
The main priority of this track is that you can get the fastest qualifying if you stick up to the high group because that's where you build all the momentum. But if you make a tiny mistake such as smooching the wall a bit, that's going to cost you a ton. And this is what the championship will be all about. It's about those narrow gaps, those slight mistakes that's going to cost you your championship, Zach.
Yeah, it's like I've been saying all season. The best drivers aren't necessarily the fastest, but they're the ones that are going to be consistent and smooth and consistently get the job done. As you did see the 55 get into the wall a little bit there on entry. That's one of the big things about this track is you'll see the car wash up a little bit on entry. It's very, very tight. As now we're going to look at the 57 of Alex Hallinar, our Prospect Series champion from Binghamton University in upstate New York. So we're going to take a little ride along with Alex inside his helmet here, coming to his green flag in the qualifying session. We're going to see what line he takes coming in here to turn one. Going to stick to that middle high groove very gently on the brakes. Going to set the car and then right back on the gas, getting it nice and settled. A little loose on exit there, but riding just against that wall. Going to carry as much speed as possible down the back straightaway into turn three, and hopefully he'll do the same thing. Yep, gonna look at riding that middle high groove just above that seam that you see in the middle of the track there. Hard under the gas, down the front straightaway. We're gonna see where this lap puts him. 22nd, so not a very good opening lap from Hallinar. However, he does still have 2 laps to go. 33.52 the first time there. Our pole time was set by Andrew Williams from Clemson University, the student, 32.95 on his time, rounding out the top 5 provisionally. Esteban Munoz from FIU, Ryan Lusich, Thomas Toomey, and Colin Culpa.
As we can see, all these drivers seem to have taken the high line on the first lap because they want to build as much momentum as they can before they go into the second lap. And oh, great car control, almost got loose and could have costed that a little bit more. But as I said, these drivers want to take the high line in the first so that way they can build a momentum. So that way all their speed is prioritized on lap 2, where they can take the shortest track around, the shortest distance around, and they can be able to get a faster lap time. But it seems like it's just way too close to call. We got to see these lap times are really tight within each other. There hasn't been 1/10 of a difference between the lap times that all these drivers have put in. Alex Hallinar coming in with 12th spot. Pretty nice job.
Yeah, excellent last lap there, and it looks like he's gonna pack it in this time around. He's happy with his lap time he just put up, coming up on about a minute and a half left in qualifying, and I think we've seen most of the field put their laps together. Um, Save a couple straggler laps here and there. Maybe some guys came in, looked at some data, and they're about to go out for their last lap. You never know.
They are taking the best advantage by just waiting and see what the field is able to put in, so that way they can learn which groups are they thinking that they have put in the fastest lap times. That's great advantage. That's great strategy thinking. I will say there are only 2 drivers in this field who are not participating tonight due to technical issues or inability to participate tonight. But I can assure you, they don't have to worry about the pressure for this race. They don't have to worry about qualifying. They don't have to worry about the race. Jared Kaler, for example, although not racing tonight, he secured a championship and doesn't need to worry about said oval qualifying and race.
Yeah, Jared may be taking the night off, albeit involuntarily. Well-deserved rest for him. However, his teammate from UNC Charlotte, Santiago Tires, a former NASCAR Coke Series driver, he is in the field tonight. He is a CIL staple for the past few seasons, but got his way into the Coke Series and hasn't been with us since. So it's good to see him return to the field tonight, currently sitting provisional 14th. And he will start 14th as that is checkered. That is the checkered flag on qualifying. Alrighty, let's take a look at your starting grid for tonight's College Cup Series championship race from Homestead, Miami. Drew Williams from Clemson University, the student, will be starting on pole tonight. To his inside, to his outside is Esteban Munoz, the student from FIU. Starting at the second row, Ryan Lusich, the student from UNT, alongside Thomas Toomey, the Virginia alum. Colin Culpa and Andrew Burrell, two students from Indiana and Clemson Universities, respectfully behind them. Starting seventh, Hagan Johnson, student from Clemson University. Athena LeClaire, the student from St. Clair College, one of the Canadian drivers in the field tonight. Matt Tucker from Jacksonville State in the 777 starts ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is Jordan Rickey from Alabama Huntsville. Scott Ratliff from Pittsburgh State, an alumni, takes the 11th spot. To his outside is Alex Hallinar from Binghamton University. Matt Nordberg takes the 13th position tonight, starting. He's the alumni from NC State. To his outside will be Santiago Tires from UNC Charlotte, the Coke Series driver. Nick Stockner, an alumni from Clemson University, will start 15th, and 16th will be Ryan Whitlock from Alabama Huntsville. Robbie Vrabel Jr., another one of our St. Clair drivers and alumni, starts in 17th. Alexander Gagnon, the student from Robert Morris University, starts in 18th. 19th position will go to Ethan Head from University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Jeff Peet starts alongside him from UMN Twin Cities. Nick Maloch takes the 21st starting position, also from St. Clair College. And outside of him, Andrew McCall, the alumni from Purdue University. Jonathan Appleton from Charger Motorsports will start in the 23rd position, and Trey Talbot, a teammate of his, will start outside of him. Jeremy Millerin, also from Purdue, starts 25th. Alexander Hogarth, 26th. And Jared Kaler, Ryan Fenty, and Tyler Stone will not start tonight's race. So, Edwin, as we're coming up on the formation lap, it's time to do the thing. Let's pick tonight's race winners. I'll give you the first pick.
Oh, that's a mistake. I will be picking Alex Hallinar. I have seen his performance at Bristol, and it is incredibly impressive making the way from the back to the front, especially at a very tight track like Bristol. But this is going to be different, and let's see if the momentum and consistency will keep it going for this track. What about you?
I'm going to take a bit of a long shot on this one, but I'm going to go with Santiago Tires. He's got the experience running up with the big boys in the Coke Series and in the Road to Pro Series. He knows this car like the back of his hand. He may be starting midfield, but I think when all the dust is settled, I think Santiago's got the racecraft and the knowledge to get it done. As there you see the field coming into turn 3. The picks have been made. We are ready to go racing here at Homestead. Maybe not for a championship for our students, but an alumni championship still to decide and plenty of places to be swapped. The pace car is off. The leaders are in control. And we are green flag racing from Homestead, Miami. Barney says send it.
Lights off and away we go. Turn 1, everybody taking it nice and easy. A few taking the top line, a lot of them taking the bottom lane.
Yeah, Drew Williams got a great start from the race there, but it looks like he's going to come under fire here from the 9 of Esteban Munoz, running to his outside, closely followed by Ryan Lusich and Thomas Toomey. We've already got a four-way fight for the lead here as Esteban Munoz goes right around the 23 of Williams. Still a lot of cars here vying for the lead. Still hasn't been decided yet as they're 3 wide across the stripe for second place going into turn 1.
I believe this is what the next gen promised. 5th gear, higher horsepower, tighter cornering, and 30% more braking, and you can have a whole field trying to get to the front with that advantage for the next gen cars.
A lot of drivers when they were practicing here said this car drove great. after about 5 or 6 laps. The racing was incredible, as we saw last night and the Prospect Series on the restarts. Here we see the 7 of Hagen Johnson going to tuck into the outside here behind his teammate Williams. They're going to try and see if they can't make a move on Colin Culpa here around the outside, or rather taking the middle. There you see the 166 of Thomas Toomey from Virginia on the high side. Almost a little bit of contact between the 006 and the 23 there.
Very narrow exit. Ryan Lucic was able to overtake the 166, passing over from turn 2, but now it seems like the field is trying to catch up. Let's see how this plays out.
Munoz has driven himself out to a 0.3 of a second lead. However, that's come down now, as it looks like Ryan Lucic has gotten an incredible exit off the turn 4 down the front straightaway there. Going into turn 1, going to back it off just a little bit easier, as maybe there was some contact there between the Clemson drivers. As we've seen all season, the Clemson drivers seem to always have not the best luck when racing around each other. 7's definitely going to try his all to get around the 23 here, as it looks like the battle for the lead is still heating up between Munoz, Lucic, and Toomey. Only about 0.3 separating these top 3 drivers as we're coming up on lap 5 of 85.
Although Esteban Munoz is in the lead, he's not able to get away despite with the clean air. The rear diffuser is really helping out the field get bunched together, and that's how they're able to get the advantage.
Yeah, and for those who are a little bit for those who aren't familiar with the next gen, is there we see a great shot of that rear diffuser. Explain how that rear diffuser works.
The rear diffuser, oh, sorry, a little bit
there.
Yeah, I got interrupted by that, but I was gonna say the rear diffuser helps with aerodynamics. As the air enters underneath the car, and then in the former bodies, it just made it tougher because it planted the cars in the rear, and the car behind them is unable to get a really good drafting pass because, well, there's not a lot of there's a ton of high pressure in there. Now with these diffusers, there's less pressure, meaning that there's more aero flowing throughout from the back of the car to the front of the car behind, and that's what makes it drafting so more powered than the last gen. So now these drivers are able to take advantage, and they're not able to leave the rear of their opponents from the front.
And all that means to me is car go fast.
That's all you need to know for racing. Car go fast.
Loud pedal. Amen.
There we go. Bless. Esteban Munoz.
This battle for the lead is they're still just going at it. It looks like the drivers can't really get to the bumpers of each other. Toomey's making a look to the outside here, going to try and take a better, wider line off of the corner here. It didn't look like that helped him out a lot. There you see the 12 of Lucic going up to the 9 of Munoz, still on his bumper now, looking to the inside underneath Munoz. Try and make something work, but didn't quite get the momentum. Munoz drove it a little deeper into the corner there.
It seems like Lucic is trying to stay behind to Munoz as best as possible, so that way he can take an opportunity to pass and get the clean air. And with that clean air, he's able to drive better into the corners and not get tight on exit.
That's one of the characteristics of this track. It's a lot of things that I've noticed when testing here, and a lot of the drivers that have practiced this, what they've noted, is that the car has been very, very tight on entry on this track. And then they get the car to sit through the center, and then it gets very, very loose off of the exit. I think we're starting to see that effect, how some of the drivers are running tonight, what line they're choosing, especially middle of the pack-ish area. So drivers are able to pick and choose their line, but it doesn't look like there's much picking and choosing up here unless you're the 9. Everybody else following the line as the 12 gets a great run off the corner there. It looks like there might have been a challenge for the lead from the 12. Lucic is going to be able to peek his nose past the 9 there for about a half a second. And they're going to be dead even coming out of the corner here. Drag race down the back straightaway. It looks like the 12 is going to get a better launch, and he's going to slide up and complete the pass for the lead. And all that side-by-side means is here comes Thomas Toomey again behind in the 166 Virginia machine. He's going to try and peek to the outside of the 9, who gets pinched behind the 12. Has to wash up the racetrack a little bit to not run over the 12. Another great run down the front straightaway for the 166 and the 9.
Front field is already catching behind the lapped car. Let's see if that's going to play out in the beginning of the run, although it should not, because this is very early in the race. A race of 85 laps, as we can see, Esteban Munoz got a little bit tight and lost the momentum on the exit.
And Munoz now losing out on the second spot to Thomas Toomey. So this front three going at it very, very early. You got to start thinking, are these drivers going to start conserving their tires a little bit, or are they going to try and go after that lead and hope we get an early race caution here? There you see side by side, dead even going into the corner. Toomey taking the higher line, losing out a little bit on exit, is going to try and tuck in behind the 9 and get a tow out of the corner, and it's going to work beautifully. The 166 gets a huge run off the corner. Going to stick his nose up under the 9 here, try and do something into turn 3, sends it up the inside, and will clear the 9 through the center. Can't quite get there on the exit. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Thomas Toomey retains that second position, as there you see lap traffic. Tyler Stone just up ahead, about a half of straightaway up ahead of the leaders. Looks like Lucic has checked out by about a half a second from the pack now, as you see P2, P3, Toomey and Munoz still going at it. That's going to let Colin Culpa into the picture now. And looky here, Santiago Tires has made his way into the 5th position and is gaining. What did I tell you? I called it, as we got an incident on the back straightaway here. 777's around into the wall. I think we're gonna see a caution.
No caution yet, but we will see what happened.
This big pack of cars right here. 777 looks like he got a little loose out of the corner.
777 almost corrected it until he got stuck in the rear.
Yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
Got a little loose, saved it, just nowhere for the 119 to go there. And the 119 looks like it just punted him towards the inside. So we stay green here. That looks like that might have been the early race caution some of these guys sending it to start off with were looking for, but didn't quite get it that time by.
Ryan Lucic away with at least over 5/10, I believe, from the second place. Able to get the clean air and is able to get away. Seems to have been saving his tires a bit when he was behind Esteban Munoz. Now he's able to take that to the full advantage. Still keeping consistent pace. No need to apply a lot of pressure on the tires. Just stay within your lines. Just stay the same lines. Manage your tires. Manage throttle. And that's how he's able to get away. Nicely done.
This is a perfect storm for Ryan Lucic right now in the good way. He's got the clean air. He's out front. He now has about a 1 second lead over Thomas Toomey there in second. Is Thomas Toomey and Esteban Munoz. I guess now Colin Culpa are going to be really fighting for that second position. So not only do you have the clean air, you have a hornet's nest of cars behind you that are jockeying for position instead of working together to try and catch you. So if you're Lucic, that's about the best thing you could possibly see out of your rear view mirror, because in your windshield, you're going to start seeing some of these lap cars come into play.
That is true. However, that's not going to be the way the race will progress. Unfortunately, that will not be the way the cookie crumbles. Or if I want to give it to a different metaphor, that will not be the way the tire degrades.
Yep. And tire degradation is a thing, major thing at this track. We're starting to see the lap times fall off just a little bit, especially with some of these drivers that are jockeying for position and running their cars harder than you might say maybe they should be. You see a 34.08 in the low 34s, high 33s. We're seeing from drivers qualifying times in the lower 33s and race starts in the low to mid 33s. As there you see the 9 falls to the 18 of Santiago Tires. Santi Tires has now worked his way up into the top 3 as Esteban Munoz falls to P4.
Esteban Munoz is definitely not able to conserve the tires the way Santiago Tires, the former Coca-Cola driver, heading up to the front. Seems like Tires, with a lot of experience racing with the Coca-Cola drivers, learned about tire management and is showing the field how it's done.
And I know when I was racing with Santi back in Season 3, and the first part of Season 4 before the Road to Pro Series started, that was one of the biggest things that I would glean from being on track with him, is just learning. Looking at what some of these bigger, better drivers do, seeing what they do, how they do it, learning from that. That's all racing is. So a little surprising that Santi was able to make it tonight, but it's good to see him back out on track again.
I almost thought for a second that Tears was going to get very loose in the middle of the apex, but no. Ooh, he's slightly loose on exit, but doesn't lose that much momentum. I've been seeing throughout the telemetry on the bottom right, and it seems like he's been staying in 5th gear throughout the corner. Normally, if your car gets tight, you will go down to 4th gear to try to get a little bit more rotation on those front tires, but no, he's been staying in 5th, and I believe that's the success behind the tire management is that you don't put a lot of throttle because there's less RPMs to push down onto the cornering, and I believe that's the way he's able to get up from all the way near 15th or middle of the pack all the way to 3rd or 2nd actually.
And he's second now. You saw, as you see out of the rear view mirror there, excuse me, the 166 of Thomas Toomey. Santi Tires is now in second and is hard charging towards our leader Ryan Lusich in up front there. You can see Lusich just ahead of that lap traffic. I believe that is Tyler Stone, if I'm not mistaken, that he's tangling with right now, lap traffic. So obviously a 1-car buffer between, if you're the leader, putting a 1-car buffer between you and second place is always a good thing. But when you have Santi who cut down the lead by 0.2 of a second just that lap, not really sure how much that's going to do.
Those 0.2 is a real benefit for Tiris because as much time as you put into the laps around here, the shortest way around, if you're able to get that consistency, you're able to catch up to the front in no time. As we can see, Santiago Tiris just now passed the lap car. Doesn't have to worry about it now. Now he can try with the clean air, get to Ryan Lusich.
Great stuff we're seeing right now out of Santi. Another 0.2 shaved off that time by. Looks like he's gaining a lot of time on Ryan on corner entry, which is again where we've seen those cars be very, very tight, watching up the tracks. So Tira is showing great racecraft as now that lead has come down to just under 0.4 of a second and is probably going to be right there across the stripe coming up on lap 24.
Just a lap ago, we saw that Santiago Tiris was a second off with the lap car. Now it's already at 0.3 off. How does he do it?
I don't know. He's good. That's it. Plain and simple.
All right. I'm not going to ask any more about that. Oh, no. Ryan Lusich got very loose on exit.
Lusich got loose.
That is very unfortunate. That is not what Ryan Lusich wanted this entire race. Not even early in the race.
And he's also going to lose that position to Toomey now. Looks like it. Toomey's going to get the better run off the outside of the corner here. But that means we now have a new leader on lap 25. Santiago Tires has driven his way from 15th to 1st, just like that. Didn't take him long.
And all it takes is 25 laps.
Looking at a replay here. Looking at a replay here of the incident coming off of turn 2. Yeah, it looks like the car just stepped out from under Ryan there. The 12 doing a great job of catching the car, loses the lead to Santi, and second place now belongs to Thomas Toomey. So great job, great response from Ryan there. Great damage mitigation as well.
It definitely could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse, you said it.
I just have to say, Ryan Lusich has not had the best luck so far when it comes to managing in front or in the front of the field. As we saw at Bristol, he was in the lead until he got caught up at mid-race in a wreck. It was not of his own doing, but it was just very unfortunate.
Oh, trouble, back straight away. It's the 6 and the 9. The 006 and the 9. It's Colin Culpa and
Let's see what happened here. Oh no.
Oh.
As we saw with Ryan Lusich, unfortunately, this cost Esteban Munoz a lot harder than Ryan Lusich had.
And there you see Munoz on the outside, the 006 underneath him. Right there on corner exit out of 2. 9 just gets a little loose and then corrects into the 6. And both of them go hard into that outside wall. Great heads up from Drew Williams in the 23, the Clemson machine right there. But you can't help but feel for the 9 of the 006. Just a simple little mistake. But it's also very easy to lose control of your cars here coming off the corner.
Very unfortunate indeed. Normally, you can't do anything about it. You're just a victim out of an uncontrolled car, and there's nothing much you can do. All you have to hope is just to finish this race, accumulate as much points as you can, even though you're not contending for the championship. Regardless, you want to finish this night in a good way.
Looks like everybody is coming down pit road now for a fresh set of tires and some Sunoco racing fuel. And if you're the 006 or the 9, you're going to take that fast repair that you've been given as well. Drivers in the CiL are given 1 fast repair per race. And if you're unfamiliar with that, what that means is it's essentially a one-time use reset button where you park your car in the pit stall and you basically get a fresh new car to start off with. So it immediately fixes any damage that you may have. There you see the race off of pit road. Looks like Jordan Ricky going to pull some pit strategy and come off P1. Santiago Tires second, Thomas Toomey third, Ryan Lusich. Really no change in the top 5 coming off of pit road.
No change indeed, but what could be Jordan's strategy here? A 2-tire stop? A fuel?
I'm thinking 2-tire stop. I know some guys before the race were talking about pit strategy, how that was going to be one of the keys to the race here, is doing the proper pit strategy. So we're going to see if this 2-tire stop potentially works out in Jordan Ricky's favor. Actually, Jordan Ricky just came back down pit road.
So it might have been a mistake.
Might have been a mistake.
That is not what you want in this race.
You see the look down pit road. Jordan Ricky coming back down. Maybe he forgot to hit the button. Oh, he couldn't get slowed down in time. Oh, man.
Ooh, nearly avoiding that. Good save, but not the way you wanted to save it, unfortunately. Could have been better if it just slowed down just a bit early. After all, we are in caution. It's not a green flag run to rush into pit road, but still.
Yeah, that's rough because you are trying to get up to the guy up in front of you when you're coming down pit road because you want to be as close to him as possible. But just carried a little too much speed there into pit lane, didn't get it slowed down in time. But props to Jordan for not hitting any other cars or even worse, the barrels there at the entry of pit road.
Props indeed, though, we're not hitting anybody else for his own mistake. All right, this is probably the first of the stints that everybody's like, all right, I gotten used over my car and I know how the track feels. Now, how do I take what I learned and progress it for the future of the race? We've said this multiple times, but it's not the same thing you do at every race. Every race has their own advantages, disadvantages. Every race has their own way of feeling the car. Now you got to feel that car with the track. I don't know how to put it into any other words without messing myself up, but basically, essentially speaking, how will you put what you learned into this race to get the advantage from the rest of the field?
Yeah, you said it right. This is the first 30 laps of the race, just over about a third of the race. These drivers have taken that time to get familiar with their cars and familiar with the track, see what works, see what doesn't. Now you're able to come back down pit road and get 4 fresh tires and fuel. Probably fuel to the end, but I think we're going to see one more pit stop. As there you see the lights on the pace car are out. The field is 2x2. We'll be coming to the restart this time by. The field is now in turn 4 behind the pace car. No change in the top 5 from that pit cycle, but Matthew Nordberg has worked his way up to that 3rd row. Nordberg vying for those alumni points as he still has an alumni championship ahead of him. Coming to the restart zone, Santiago's launches it. Barney drops the green flag, and we're racing again at Homestead.
Top 5 has still not been changed, but now to turn 2, we can see Ryan Lusich and Andrew Williams got a little bit of an obscure vision in my eyes. Sorry, but as we can see, they're going in the exit of turn 1. No issues so far, but the rest of the field behind from 10th and beyond seem to be changing positions.
There you see the 23 and the 083. That's Drew Williams from Clemson and Robbie Vrabel Jr. of St. Clair College going side by side right there out of turn 4. Williams going to get a little bit of a better run off the corner with the 076 of Nordberg behind. Nordberg and Vrabel here is the interesting fight because they are fighting for that alumni championship. Nordberg is the leader. Vrabel is only 5 points behind. That's 5 positions. So if Vrabel comes out on top, he needs to really work some magic to win that championship. But as it sits, the Alumni Oval Championship belongs to NC State and that machine, the 076 machine of Matt Nordberg. Looking here back towards about halfway down the field, you see Ethan Head with the 55 of Trey Talbot, UAH and UTK going at it. Alabama, Huntsville, and Tennessee side by side. Those two are going into the corner. Ethan Head's going to lose out a little bit on top. Going to tuck in behind the 55, get a better run down the back straightaway. He's going to get a great run now. Let's see if he peeks his nose out below the 55 going into turn 3. No, he's going to stay behind him and play. Looks like he's going to try and play it smart here for these next few laps, as most of the field now has gone single file.
Just right behind them, I see Alex Hananar. We got a report that Alex Hananar actually pitted right before the yellow came out, which screwed his strategy. Now he seems to fight his way back up to the field.
That is really unfortunate because Halanar was running up there towards the middle of the pack. Now he's kind of fighting for position at the back of the pack. It's always a rough mentally as a driver when you make a call, especially a risky one like that, pitting under green. And I don't think we were starting to see the first of the green flag pit stop cycle there. But tough luck for Halanar, but I have no doubt that he'll be able to work his way back up through the field. We have received word from race control. There was an incident on the restart involving the 747 and the 7 of Hagen Johnson, potentially. We ended up with the 747 on the inside wall, but no caution. It looks like race control has confirmed that the number 7 will receive a penalty for laying off the restart to gain an advantage. So basically what that means is, if you remember the infamous incident many years ago at Daytona, I think we're going to see a view here. Yeah, the famous incident at Daytona with Kyle Busch. Yeah, can't do that. Oh, Hagen, what are you doing, man? Can't do that, buddy.
That is definitely something that... Sorry, I got so stumped by that move, I lost for words.
Yeah, I think he was trying to do the Kyle Busch thing, starting behind the field and gaining speed, so by the time the leaders hit the restart zone, you're already past the last couple cars. But yeah, you have to stay in line there. So I'm not really sure what the 7 was thinking there, making that move. But yeah, unfortunate for both of those cars and the 747 of Scott Ratcliffe. We're now hearing some displeasure voiced over the team radios.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah. Here you see a great battle for the 18th position here. That's Nicholas Stockner, Alex Gagnon, and Tyler Stone going at it. Stockner and Gagnon side by side into turn 1. Gagnon looking close behind them. Not a lot of space between those two cars, as that's going to let the 018 of, I believe it's Andrew McCall, into this fight as well. So we now have a 4-way battle for the P18 position.
What we gotta mention is that this race and all the previous races that we have done so far, you can think of them as multi-class. There are 2 classes gone here. There's the student class, basically the drivers who have the green banners on top of them representing students of their respective universities. And there's the alumni, which all carry the red banners. Basically, they are not trying to fight each other. They're trying to fight within their respective opponents. And they got to make sure that they don't hit another class that they're not racing for, because otherwise that just ruined the whole point of fighting for your own prospective championship.
Yeah, you're right. Your race, if you're a student, isn't with the alumni. Your race is with the other students. At the end of the race, points are dished out to each class, not necessarily overall finishing position, but where you finish in the class. So, for example, if the race were to finish as is, Santiago Tires would obviously be the student winner, but Thomas Toomey would also receive winner points for being the highest finished alumni, so that would go towards his alumni score.
Great camera shot here by, I think, the Leclerc. Really gives into that field of perspective of how fast these drivers are going. As we can see, ooh, nearly to the rear. Could have been a contact, but regardless, there's no major contact. Everybody's going in and out. Nicely done. No further disaster happening right now. But is this early in the race? We are reaching about the halfway point.
Yeah, about 3 laps until halfway, and I think we're probably going to see. Now, the more that I'm thinking about it, my crew chief brain is turning on is burning the oil here. That caution really could not have come out at a worse time, because I think the strategy for this race, at least in my book, was to split it in half. You come in around, if it stayed green, you come in around this point to get tires. But with the caution coming out right before that, they're going to have a really long stretch from about lap 30 to the end. It's a 55 lap stretch, which you can't necessarily make it on. You can make it on tires, but you wouldn't want to, if you know what I'm saying. So I think we're going to see some pit strategy coming up here in about 20 laps or so. Drivers coming in, maybe they're going to try to burn their stuff up to be really aggressive and try and take these positions there. As you see, both the 540 of Stockner and the machine of Andrew McCall going around Ethan Head there. That's for the 17th position. So you're going to see drivers start to get a little more aggressive here in this middle stage and try and make a pit stop a little bit towards the end of the race to try and make it. But I think you're also going to see drivers maybe taking it a little more cautious, going to try and save those resources, manage those tires, and save fuel to the end of the race.
That's the two types of drivers that there are in this race. There's going to be ones that are going to try to give it their all, not worry about the tires or their fuel. They're going to try to gain as much positions before the next caution or the green flag stops. And there are those who thinking of the bigger picture, the ones that want to make the tires have more grip as long as possible. Maybe some people want to try to preserve as much fuel as possible. It all depends. This is the crazy thing about Homestead and any other track. You try to come up with various strategies that it depends on which position you're in for the race. It depends if you're in the middle of the field, you might want to try to conserve more. So that way, once the front of the pack tries to burn as much of their fuel and or tires, they might be slowing down and then you're catching up and then the pace progresses and then everybody gets basically stacked up. It all depends.
And you said it right. This track is variable. This track has options. And that's the best thing you can possibly have as both a driver and a crew chief is options. So if you're feeling like you want to be more aggressive, you can definitely run that low side to take the shorter way around. But if you're trying to save your tires a little bit, you can run that high side. We've seen a lot of people make complete passes here on the outside. As you see Athena Leclerc trying to make the pass on Matt Nordberg for the 8th position, and she will do that. So the Canadian making the move. The Canadian from St. Clair College making the move on the alumni from NC State as they now turn their sights towards Colin Kolpa. But Nordberg is going to retaliate here and get a really nice run off of turn 4. Look to the inside. Athena Leclerc right up to the bumper of Colin Kolpa. And Nordberg still there on her inside rear bumper. They're going to be dead even coming out of the turn. A little wiggle there out of Leclerc, but she keeps it going. It's going to allow Nordberg to get right up to her inside here going into turn 3.
Great mini save, but unfortunately, it's not a great save to your momentum.
Yeah, that killed her momentum. We're seeing her pay for it right now. Nordberg washes up a little bit. Got a little tight off the exit there.
Very tight racing. This is what you want to see. Incredibly narrow.
Hard into turn 1. It washes up the track a little bit. Actually got loose on entry, and that's going to allow the 076 to take that 8th position back. The 8th position.
This is the part where you start to wonder, is it really worth going aggressive? You may be able to save your car, but if you continue to keep doing that, slightly licking the wall. No further damage done. Just a little kiss. Just saying, all right, Homestead, I'll kiss you, but just leave me alone, please. I'll be nice to you.
Athena Leclerc now coming under fire from the 55 of Trey Talbot, UAH Charger Motorsports machine looking to her inside now. Gonna get a side-by-side run. Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
That might be lap traffic affecting the momentum.
That was lap traffic. It was the 747 of Scott Ratliff there. Very slow off of the corner. So obviously damage from his incident earlier, the restart with Hagan Johnson. Johnson and Ratliff currently scored 1 lap down. but that did not help Athena's case at all. She lost a ton of momentum down the back straightaway, as now the 55 is going to look at her inside here coming into turn 1.
It did not help her situation, but it could have been a lot worse. They were
Could have been a
inches
lot
off
worse.
each other. Side by side as they're going into turn 3. You caught the words out of my mouth.
Yep, this is a great battle we're seeing right now. The 55 still locked under the 61 there of Athena.
Not trying to let one go. I think Athena got loose on the exit and lost momentum, allowing the 55 to pass.
55 has completed the pass on the 61. We're going to see maybe not for long, though, but looks like the 57 of Alex Hallinar is about to work his way back up inside the top 10. Athena currently holding that 10th position, and the 57 of Hallinar is hungry. He wants that spot and more.
Alex saying, hey, that strategy screwed me off. I want to get on the action. I want to be on camera. Let me pass through.
Like he'll get his chance here really soon as he gets a great launch off of turn 4 on that inside. He's able to hook the car and get it pointed, get on that gas. Looks like he might complete the pass here into the corner. A little bit of contact there. The 57, looks like the 61 may have come down into the 57 there. But both cars stay straight.
Ooh, once again, Alex slightly loose, but no further damage, no further loose on the car. It's great.
61 is now trying to make that pass back on the 55 of Trey Talbot. Athena says, I want that position back. Alex Hallinar says, hey, I want both of those positions while you're at it. Maybe make a double pass here into turn 1, drafting behind the 61 of Athena Leclerc. Into the corner, not going to try and move that time by, but Leclerc will make the pass and retake that 8th position. Excuse me, yes, 8th position.
Seems like the 55 is not trying to race right now. It's not trying to be aggressive with their opponents. Just taking the time, not necessarily being aggressive, not need to block in the inside, but still wants to try to keep that position up there. So still staying right behind Alex Hallinar and staying outside most of the race, as I've noticed. Oh, this is a change.
Big move from the 55 there. Going to go from outside to the inside and going to try and take the line away from the 57. Hallinar has been running that lower line these last couple laps. And this side-by-side action has now allowed the 88 of Andrew Burrell from Clemson University to come into this mix.
I was just talking about how the 55 was not being aggressive, and all of a sudden he pulled that move off, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was a very good move. If he could have completed that pass, but it looks like he had something really great set up there and possibly got tight into the corner. Center a little too hard. Couldn't quite get the move done. And it looks like we're getting some green flag pit stops now. A lot of drivers maybe trying the undercut. We're going to see drivers coming in to take their green flag stops. As there you see the 23 of Andrew Williams from Clemson University taking his green flag stop. We're going to see if anybody else comes along with him. I think you might see some Clemson drivers on team orders coming in with, and you'll see some drivers follow. Looks like Robbie Vrabel Jr. has come in as well. He's going to hit his exit for new tires. Fresh, but maybe some fuel, maybe not. I think he might be able to get to the end.
We got a bit of a surprise. Matthew Norberg has been disconnected. That is very unfortunate for the alumni.
That is huge for him. Our alumni championship leader, Matt Nordberg, having some technical difficulties. It seems to be the case tonight. As there you see this battle between the 57 heating up, I believe. No, yeah, that's the 083 of Robbie Vrabel Jr. There you see the difference between new tires and old. Vrabel just smokes the rest of the field out of the corner there. Scott Ratliff and Matthew Tucker have come in as well.
We got more updates because Matthew Norberg has been disconnected. If Vrabel is able to hold this off, he's going to be the champion of the alumni series.
Yeah, you're right. Nordberg currently, yeah, he has not come back into session, so he'll be scored pretty low in the field. So if Vrabel can finish the race where he's at, he will be the alumni series champion.
Still too early to call, but you never know.
Colin Culpa, Athena Leclerc, Alex Hallinar, have hit pit road. Alex Hallinar coming out of pit road now. I believe we just heard from a couple drivers there that they were coming down to pit road. Hogarth was one of them.
Hopefully everybody makes no mistakes on pit road. This is a green stop flag out the green stop my bad. This is a green flag stop after all. If everything turns out well, they won't be a lap down. Whereas not so far from the leader, so that way they can get the lap back.
You see there you see on your timing order Nick Maloch in pit road now coming out of the inherited lead. He will be credited with leading a lap. So that'll help his case a little bit. But he has come down pit road. And you see Andrew Burrell, another Clemson car, Tyler Stone from St. Clair College, and Alexander Hogarth from Purdue coming down pit road as well. So green flag stops in full order. Looks like a lot of drivers have gotten the command that they can make it to the end, and they should pit now. So about 25, 26 laps to go in this race. I think we've seen the final pit stops pending if we have a late race caution, but with the way that we've seen league races work out in the past, I think we've got at least one more caution under our belts.
Definitely. As the race approaches to the end, these drivers will be a lot more aggressive, and with aggressiveness comes a little bit of lack of awareness around other drivers. Either that, or they try to go too aggressive to where they think they won't be punished until it's too late. So that's where we'll be seeing the cautions happen, because one person tries to dive bomb thinking they have enough grip, or the other misjudge that they're clear out of the person on the outside or inside. And that's how the cautions come by, and they'll shake up the strategy.
And there you see on the timing board, all the cars that have not pit this cycle have one stop to their name. Some of those cars may be banking on that late race caution, going to try and shoot the moon with the strategy here. And hopefully a caution comes out and they'll be able to come down pit road, hopefully with a nice lead, be able to retain that position. As here you see the 7 of Hagen Johnson and Athena Leclerc going at it. Athena Leclerc hopefully should get let by here, as Hagen Johnson has scored a lap. Actually, no, he's not. He has not pit yet. So this is for position. However, Athena Leclerc does have the better times, or the better tires.
Good point.
So I think we might see the 7 come down pit road here in the next few laps, but Athena Leclerc looking to Johnson's outside and halfway tucked behind his bumper, going to work a wider lane, going to try and get a better exit, but it looks like Johnson's able to put the power down just a little bit more. Leclerc with a great draft into turn 1 here. Going to stick her nose to the outside of the 7. Going to pull side by side with him, going to lock him down. Great defensive maneuver there by the 61. A little bit of contact, going to close off the exit line for the 7, and is going to complete that pass for the 20th position. However, but that is not running P20 on the track, because we still have not finished this pit cycle. I'm looking at the timing sheet, and Trey Talbot is now coming down pit road from the 4th position, the UAH Charger Motorsports machine.
See, seems like from top 10 on up front, it almost seems like these drivers are trying to hope for a caution. Esteban Munoz got licked on the exit of turn 2. It almost seems like, as I was saying, like they were trying to take the long run strategy, hoping that there's going to be a caution before the green stop cycle ends.
Yeah, this will be 20 laps remaining in the CiL College Cup Series season this time by. So I think this is where we're going to see that strategy split. Santiago Tires, Ryan Whitlock, Jordan Rickey, Thomas Toomey, Nick Stockner have yet to pit in this cycle. So it looks like they may be trying to shoot the moon here, waiting for a late race caution. But there is a pretty considerable lead over the rest of the field with the cars that have made a stop. The rest of them are 1 lap down. Pitting here at Homestead pretty much guarantees that you're going to go 1 lap down. As there you see the last lap speeds of the cars, a very considerable difference. Among the drivers that have pitted and have not.
Thomas Toomey with 186 miles per hour and with the 33.9 seconds of lap times is very different compared to Santiago Tires, who I've seen the last lap, and it seems to be 35 seconds, almost a 1.2 second difference in top speed and lap time, I believe.
Ryan Whitlock has currently got his he's got his work cut out for him. A 7.5-second gap. So Santiago Tires ahead. Now 7.6 seconds. So it looks like Santi might be pulling away a little bit as we're going to focus in on the P3 car of Thomas Toomey from Virginia. Currently 9 seconds back from second place, Ryan Whitlock. And another 2 seconds back to Jordan Rickey of Charger Motorsports, University of Alabama, Huntsville.
I'm surprised that Santiago Tires, despite being a Coca-Cola driver, taking the shot at the moon. I thought I would see him try to take the green flag pit stop. So far, he's just waiting for the gamble.
I think he knows what he's doing. I'm gonna put my faith in him, and I think I'm gonna say he knows what he's doing. And if this works out, that'll definitely be the move of the race. Looking in on 7th place, Ryan Lusich hunting down the 23 of Andrew Williams, going to try and make a pass on the 540. That's Nicholas Stockner, Clemson teammate. Drew's going to make that pass very easily and is going to turn his sights towards getting around the lap car, the number 9 of Esteban Munoz from FIU. Looks like he might have checked out on Ryan Lusich behind, as we've got a caution now. Trouble. I believe this is in turn 3. Yeah, the 57 of Alex Hallinar involved in an incident with Athena Leclerc.
Oh, no.
And Athena was having a great race, too.
Staying away from trouble, got nearly wrecked on several occasions. Now this time, oh.
Athena just punted the 57. I will say this. I've noticed. Oh, did she collect a teammate there?
He collected possibly a teammate.
I think that was Tyler Stone who got collected there trying to get around the wreck.
That is very unfortunate for Tyler Stone.
Oh, man. And I have noticed this before when we've been riding on board with her and watching her. She likes following the driver in front of her very closely into the corner and getting right up to their bumper on entry and then darting to the outside. So I'm wondering if maybe she almost didn't expect Hallinar to check up or to brake that early. But any way you go about it, the gamble paid off. We now have the late race caution that these drivers up front were wanting. So this is pure excitement for these drivers up ahead. Tires, Whitlock, Toomey, Vrabel, Williams, all of them are now going to come down pit road, get 4 fresh tires for this restart. The other drivers who did pit, they pit, I believe, about 15 laps ago. So they're going to have older tires, and this will be a great restart.
About 10 laps ago, yes.
Yeah. And 10 laps is a considerable amount of time to make a difference in lap time and pace here at Homestead.
5 tenths could be a difference between victory or finishing runner-up or 3rd or 4th or 5th anywhere else. I honestly thought Santiago Tires was going to be able to do the entire race without pitting, like a one stop. And I was going to be so surprised that would have worked out, but
well,
nope.
I think if it came down to it, he would have. But the 61 of Athena Leclerc has been given an end-of-line penalty for that incident, as well as Hagen Johnson for the restart incident from before. But if you're a St. Clair supporter, that was the one thing you didn't want to see is 2 cars being taken out in the same incident. 2 very good cars at that. The St. Clair drivers put in a lot of work. They're very good. Yeah, just unfortunate for them.
Definitely unfortunate. It was just very unpredictable to know how exactly that happened. A little mistake, not really what you want, but it just happens sometimes. It's what we call a racing incident. Might have seen that Alex was just trying to slow down a bit more on that corner.
Yeah, it looks like Alex may have just, man, that hurt. Yeah, it looks like Alex may have braked a little bit earlier than usual. And Athena doing her thing of riding up to the person in front of them. Yeah, it just didn't work out there in the end. Yeah, you said you're riding on board with the 57, got out of the gas, and the 61 just drove straight through you. So there's nothing you can do there. That's unfortunate.
Go back to Athena Leclerc's with her onboard. it looked very painful. And as we saw earlier in real life at Pocono, when Kurt Busch wasn't cleared to race because of the qualifying crash, he almost made it look like there was something severely different about the next gen when it comes to crashes, especially considering the fact that it was just very harsh. What I mean to say is that in this race, that could have probably led to a concussion of some sorts because the impact was so severe.
The thing about this being a simulation software is that we don't have that problem.
No, but there will be hurt feelings.
Yeah, the only pain is hurt feelings in iRacing.
That is definitely more impactful than physical.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna put that on the T-shirt.
We should make a merchandise about that for CIL.
CIL merch coming to you soon.
We're not promoted to say this. We're not promoted to say this, but take it with a grain of salt.
We should get on that.
Definitely. I think the rest of the field will want that.
Lights on the pace car are off, which means we will go green this time by Tires, Whitlock, Toomey, Vrabel, your top four. Santiago Tires still holding on to that lead. They've cycled back up to the front. All those lapped cars were able to take the wave around, got back on the lead lap. So your leaders are on fresh tires. Short look at our top 10 here. Tires, Whitlock, Toomey, Vrabel, Culpa, Maloch, McCall, Williams, Lusich, and Ricky. Field 2 by 2 now into turn 4. We're going to come up to this restart with 12 laps to go. The pace car is off. Tires is in control, and he is off. We're back at green at Homestead.
A massive jump on a restart.
Yeah, great restart there from the 18 as the 166 and 083 are still side by side. It looks like the Whitlock machine may have gotten a little loose there into the corner. Had to check up because we got another crash.
This
turn
is
2.
very unfortunate.
I think that's the 7 of Hagen Johnson, the 540 of Stockner, 2 UAH machines as well. Possibly.
We'll be seeing the replay shortly, but whatever happened, we can see. Oh
man.
Esteban Munoz was able to get away from that. Let's see what happened.
So the 34 got loose and lost a lot of spots there, but I don't think that was the incident.
Definitely not. We'll have to wait a little bit more, but we did see that Hagen Johnson was one of the first cars, at least from our perspective, to get hit. Oh!
Yeah, so it looks like the 7 of Johnson either got loose or got hit by the 61. Oh, the 8. So I think, yeah. So the 88 braked into the turn. The 7 had to check up, and the 61 drove through him again. And just
very
nothing
unfortunate.
The 7 could do. 7 tried to save it, collected the 018, a UAH car, and a teammate. So that's 2 times now that a crash has taken out teammates. There you see the 7 collecting the 540 of Nick Stockner.
And not just that, there were 2 incidents where the bumper happened, where the driver behind just happened to get very close to the bumper that they don't check up for the front of the field or in front of the car. Seems like the 61 was very close and did not anticipate that the car in front was going to check up.
Yeah, and you can't see, that's the job of a spotter, but we don't really have formal spotters here in iRacing. So the 61 had no idea that the 88 was going to brake there to make the corner. Obviously the 7 saw it, so he checked up. And the 61, by the time the 61 saw that the 7 had checked up, it was too late.
Can we call ourselves future spotters or past spotters? I don't know how you say it, but it's basically we can see how is it that the mistake has been made after it has already happened because of this replays. Definitely. Although my mission is not 2020, but regardless, I think it's just kind of evident that some of these drivers don't have 2020 vision, and I can't blame them. It's incredibly hard to predict what the driver ahead is going to do.
Race control has determined no fault in that incident. So you said it, racing incident, just tight racing on a restart, late race restart. And I believe when we go back green here, we're going to have just over 6 laps of racing to do to decide it all. So,
and like we said before, go ahead.
So looking at our point standings right now, it looks like Robbie Vrabel Jr. will secure the alumni championship, individual alumni championship for St. Clair College. Um, Ryan Fenty obviously did not compete tonight, so he will lose out on the second spot to George Kaler in the student championship. Uh, but we will look at the points when everything is all said and done.
I was gonna say, as we approach the end of the race, these drivers are possibly trying to be in their absolute aggressive state.
Oh yeah, this is going to be all cards on the table, all the chips in. Nobody's going to hold anything back. I think that's what we saw out of the 61 of Athena Leclerc there. Just nothing held back. She was going to send it through that corner, come hell or high water.
But it is a really risky strategy if you're going to think about trying to be aggressive right from the restart, because there might be some drivers who are going to try to anticipate other drivers being aggressive, and what that follows up with a caution. And that way, once they are ready to see that happening, they can avoid the wreck and not be a part of it.
Well, and it's something we've been saying all season is that in order to finish first, you must first finish. The old racing adage. Um, So I think a lot of these drivers are going to really take it easy on the restart and try and get settled to where at least they know who's around them and where they're going before they start really challenging for positions. That's why you kind of see the field get really squirrely after the first set of corners. Is when they start really fighting for position, get some heat in the tires so that you can control the car better.
Especially
As
for
well as
those that have pitted, yes.
yeah, and especially that, so that you know how your car is going to react, both around other drivers in traffic, and that you can pilot it wherever you want to go. Double file here again. We're going to take another whack at it. If we do see another caution later on, remember we have one green-white checkered attempt, so this will not be the end of it. If we go green, then so be it. But if we see another caution, we have a green-white checkered attempt. The field is 2 by 2. No changes in the top 5 that time by. Not really time enough to do anything. Pace car is off. Tires in control. Let's see if he gets another great restart. He does. And we are back to green at Homestead.
Got the 55 sleeping on that restart.
And just like last time, the 18 gaps, right? The 18 of Tires gaps Ryan Whitlock, Toomey, and Vrabel side by side with the 23 and 006 of Williams and Culpa right behind them. The 166 going to tuck into the inside here of the Toomey, or excuse me, going to try and tuck in the inside of Whitlock. Is going to complete that pass for the second position. Thomas Toomey now has the second spot. It looks like Whitlock might lose out on the third position to Robbie Vrabel Jr., and he will. So not a great restart at all there for Ryan Whitlock, but Thomas Toomey now has his sights set on the lead as there is 6 laps to go that time by.
Very tight racing happening on the exit of turn 2. Now these drivers are not going to play nice with each other anymore. Not going to try to extend their elbows from the steering wheel and try to virtually dive into the corner and try to get positions.
Oh, it's elbows, hands, legs, feet, and teeth out now. As we're coming, this will be 5 to go this time by. The 89 of Whitlock trying to mitigate damage, staying on that bumper of the 083. You saw the 23 of Drew Williams try and make a move there as we have another caution now. Now it looks like the 9 of Esteban Munoz has gone around.
Did somebody tag him?
I think he may have had some help from either the 7 or the 88.
Let's take a closer look. Oh,
I think the 9 came down into the 7.
Esteban Munoz. Yeah, but it almost seemed like Esteban Munoz rather went inside, or they might have been contact to where he wasn't ready and they tagged each other's fenders, and then it just somehow got involved with him being loose and just suddenly collecting Munoz.
Yeah, it looks like the 9 thought he was clear, didn't see the 7. Hit the 7. 7 lost control, overcorrected back into the 9 and the 20.
Ooh.
The 20 of Alexander Hogarth, I believe. So not a great day for the St. Clair or Clemson drivers. That's for sure. So race control, we'll have a look at that and we'll get back to you as to what they deem if there's any responsibility there. But yeah, the 9 just not clear, came down to the 7. 7 overcorrected back into the 9, and it was a party from there.
very unfortunate, but we have seen like about 3 occasions where Clemson University has been involved in these incidents this race. Most of
Oh
them
yeah,
are racing
definitely.
incidents. Yes, most of them are racing incidents, but I don't know about this one.
Yeah, that I don't know. I would that one's a tough call.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
the steward though. At least I don't get the job of being steward in this race.
yeah, our chief steward tonight is Joshua Crane, one of the admins of the league. So he's got a very tough job right now, trying to figure out who's at fault for that. And I believe Esteban Munoz has parked the car, has taken the car to the garage. So he will be out of the race, and it looks like Drew Williams, looking here at the 23 from Clemson in P6, will be in prime position to take that second spot in the student points. He's quite a few points behind both Fenty and Munoz, but with Munoz retired and Fenty not starting, Drew may have both Drew and Trey Talbot. Talbot just behind Williams in the point standings there may have a really good shot at completing the podium.
Just a few laps away from determining the victor. But regardless, we have seen that by our best estimates, the winners have been already concluded. For the student, it has already been concluded. For alumni, it has still yet to be officially decided. Regardless, we are seeing that possibly. Sorry, I just need to look at the 1 second.
Yeah, it looks like Thomas. Well, the way that we have it right now is that Thomas Toomey might do good enough to break himself into the top 3. Robbie Vrabel Jr. Is pretty much a shoe-in for the alumni championship at this point. Colin Culpo looks like he might. It looks like he might secure P2. Thomas Toomey takes P3. Excuse me, it looks like Lusich might be P3 right now, but I'm also not good at math, so don't take my word for it. We'll get you the point standings right after the race.
Math
But
and racing? That's not a good combination. It happens. Let the math. Let the crew chiefs do the math.
Yeah, I'm not the math guy. I'm not an engineer.
I am, and I still don't understand a lot of math.
You know what? I feel that.
All right, seems like
So-
we'll be getting one more lap before the green flag comes out. This time by the caution lights will be off, and it will be the green checkered overtime.
Yes, we will be going into CiL overtime, as this is now race distance. So the lights on the pace car have gone out. The field will go 2 by 2, and we'll have 2 laps to get to the end of the race. We will have a green flag lap, a white flag lap, and then the checkered. If the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race. So if we have a clean restart and the leader gets back to 1 to go, whether it be a caution or the checkered flag, the race will conclude. So this is it. This is for all of the beans. Santiago Tires in the lead to his outside Thomas Toomey. Row 2, Robbie Vrabel Jr. and Ryan Whitlock going at it. Row 3, Culpa, Williams, Lusich, Stockner, Trey Talbot, and Andrew McCall will make up your top 10 for this restart. 2 laps to decide it all.
They say this is for all the marbles. I say this is for all the lug nuts. Oh wait, there's only 1 lug nut on every tire.
I'm gonna use that one. This is for all the lug nuts.
There we go.
I'm
New
gonna
term.
use that. All right, getting back to it. The field is coming out of turn 4 now. 2 by 2, 2 laps to decide the points for the season. Pace car is off. Leader's in control. Let's see if Santiago gets his good restart. Yes, he sure did.
Once again.
Struggled right there. Santiago Tires with another blistering restart, as the 166 now under pressure from the 083, who gets by the 89 of Ryan Whitlock. Vrabel Jr. able to secure that 3rd position, but maybe not for long. The 166 to his outside. Toomey now under fire from the 083. 89 still behind them. We've got a 3-way battle for 2nd place, as it looks like Tires has now checked out from the front of the field. Drew Williams, there you see in the 23, holding on to that 5th position, now coming under fire from the 006, who's going to get a nice run to the inside. This will be the white flag. This time by, the race is official. Santiago Tires still with a huge lead. The 166 of Thomas Toomey about a half a second behind him. The 083 looks like can't quite get the move done there into two. Looks like we're going to have some trouble at the back of the field. Massive crash at the back of the field, but it looks like they're going to let him race towards the checkered flag. Williams going to make the move under the 006 here. Going to try and take back that fifth position. Looks like he's going to slide up and clear it, but Santiago Tires, in his return to the CIL, will take the checkered flag. Thomas Toomey, second place. Robbie Vrabel Jr. is your Alumni Series champion for St. Clair College, finishing in third. Ryan Whitlock fourth, and Andrew Williams will round out the top five. Man, what a restart race for the finish there.
Santiago Tires once again caught the whole field sleeping, actually caught the top three sleeping, and is able to get the victory after his return from months of not being in the CIL. Seems like being the Coca-Cola driver really pays off, especially once you get into these series and you teach these people how it's done.
Santiago Tires here putting on a clinic, and he's going to burn it down. This is the one race he's run this season in the CIL after running in the Coke Series and Road to Pro, and he drove from 15th to 1st. So great job to him, and congratulations to the UNC Charlotte drivers on their series championship. And congratulations to Robbie Vrabel Jr., now your unofficial Alumni Series champion at St. Clair College, the Saints iRacing Academy, taking home that championship as well. So let's take a look at this incident that happened coming to the checkered. I believe this is coming in. This is about halfway through 1 and 2. Looks like who is that?
Oh,
It was the 018. The 018 got loose, checked up into the 61, and man, that was a big crash.
yeah, this is one of the biggest wrecks of the night.
Yeah, that was the big one right there. Yeah, Andrew McCall, the driver from Purdue, looks like he just got a little loose out of the corner there. Came down to the 61, a little synchronized spin there from both of those drivers, and just collected about 5, 6, 7 drivers behind them.
And I just happened to see it on that replay. Seems
it.
like the 018 got on the seams.
Yeah. Collected the 88 just with nowhere to go right there. Same with the 33.
At that moment, it was
Stone.
just a domino effect.
7 of Johnson, the 119 of Jeff Pete. 18 and the 57 did a really good job getting by there. There you see the number 20 machine. Big hit for the 7 there coming off the inside wall.
And once again, Clemson University has been affected, unfortunately.
Not a good night to be a Clemson. Not a good night to be a Clemson fan or a St. Clair fan. But a little. Oh man, where did the 34 come from?
It just happens all of a sudden these days.
All right. What do you say we talk to tonight's race winner, Santi Tires? Welcome back to the CIL. How does it feel to come back and win your only race of the season?
Oh, it feels great. Love Homestead. Don't have too much experience with the next gen. Still can't hot lap in the thing, but fortunately, we were able to figure it out in the race and keep the tires on it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Not sure how the strategy was going to work out before that yellow came out and that after the long run. I felt like I had enough fuel. I was actually good for fuel, so it's gonna be interesting to see if those guys were gonna catch me. But yeah, fun race.
Hello, Santi Tires. This is Edwin Onofre here in the commentary. And you say you can't hot lap the next gen car because you haven't figured it out. But it seems like you figured that car from the moment you started the race. You went from 15th to first place, and you've been able to stay consistent throughout the entire race. I want to know, what is your strategy so that way I can control plus V? I mean, no, I'm not going to copy those notes. I just want to know, how is it that you do so well here?
I have probably thousands of laps here. I just have so much seat time here, and it's been run the same way forever. And I just relied on experience, pretty much. So yeah, once you got to hook that seam. Well, the bottom was pretty good in the race, but it eventually hurt the tires, which as you guys saw what happened in the long run, and it was better to hook the seam like you normally would. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, I'm definitely taking those notes into mind in case I want to race around Homestead because it's not one of my best tracks, but you made it look easy. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you for your first win in CIL and possibly your only win because this was possibly the last race of the season. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Before
you
you go,
guys for the race.
Oh, wait, hold on.
yeah, before you go, Santi, UNC Charlotte are officially the CIL Student Series champions. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out? Any congratulations you want to throw out?
Yeah, congrats on Jared Kaler for winning the school championship. I'm not sure if he won the drivers championship.
He
Um,
did, yes.
he did, yeah. So congrats to him on that. Um, yeah, I've been away for pretty much the whole season, but it's good to be back for one race. So congrats to UNCC, and yeah, looking forward to next season.
Yeah, welcome back to the CIL. Hope we see you around. And if we don't, best of luck in the Coke Series and Road to Pro.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All
That
right,
was
that was
San.
Santiago Tiras. Are we gonna do second or third?
How about let's get our second place finisher in here, Thomas Toomey. Congratulations on the P2. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good. That was a decent race overall. Had some good short run pace, but when you're running behind the Coke driver, it's kind of tough to keep your tires in check and go fast at the same time.
Yeah, and obviously the big storyline of the night is that pit strategy. The no call there on the green flag pit stops. What was going through your mind? How did you come to that? How did you come to that decision?
So I was gonna split the pit stops like I did in the prospect race last night. My fuel mileage told me that I had to pit at least once. I was shifting in the corners, and apparently Santi was not. So that explains why his fuel mileage is a little bit better than mine. So my goal is to push hard and then split the race, I guess, kind of in thirds there with the caution. And I almost caught up to him at the end. There was a little bit of lap traffic, and it started to get dicey. And I thankfully I got on the lead lap, but was not able to get to the front.
Hello, Thomas Toomey. This is Edwin over here in the commentary, and I saw your drive, and there were some moments where I was just more concerned if you were going to hit somebody else, or that you were just very lucky and you know how to put the car up into the track and make it drive throughout the entire race. So tell me, how does it feel like driving, getting to second place, almost getting Santiago Tiers for the money for the win?
It was pretty good. I almost had him there at the end. Thankfully, it was clean all the way to the end, and we got to race it all the way through. So that was awesome. But it was cool seeing someone who's very, very quick and following them. Definitely learned a lot.
And learning a lot is what you need for these races. Great job. Is there anybody you would like to shout out before we head off?
Yeah, want to give a shout out to you guys for the broadcast and running a great race.
All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
That was Thomas Toomey, our second place finisher tonight. And how about let's dial up our third place finisher tonight, Robbie Vrabel Jr., also our unofficial alumni individual champion. Robbie, congratulations on a great season, a great run. How do you feel?
It feels great. I had one goal in mind coming into this race tonight, and that was to deliver this for St. Clair. That was my only goal. I didn't care if me and Norberg finished 19th and 20th as long as I was 19th. I really hate that he had connection issues. The first round was fun. I was just hanging with him. I wasn't really pushing it that hard, just trying to hang with him and let him know I was there. I got in front of him off of a restart and checked out a little bit. Um, wasn't sure if he was saving his stuff. I figured he knew that the race was just between us. It didn't matter where we finished because we were only separated by a point, I think. So it was really, really close. I'm just happy to be the one to come out on top.
Hello, Rabel. This is Edwin over here at the commentary. Congratulations. And I want to know, did you have to put a lot of pressure in the early of the race so that way you can try to finish out top for the alumni championship?
I wanted him to know that I was there. I did a couple of practice runs. I really enjoy Homestead. I struggle with the car compared to a lot of other guys. Just being able to talk with Santi and a few others before coming in here. I mean, we were all driving. Everybody was driving it differently, and they were fast. I definitely wasn't doing what they were doing, but I wanted, in a situation like this, the only person I was really racing tonight was Nordberg, and I just wanted him to know that I was here. It didn't matter where he went, I was going to be right there with him, and kind of get in his head a little bit, make him think, I guess. Nothing crazy. I wasn't gonna hit him. I wasn't gonna do anything like that. I don't race like that. I wanted to beat him straight up. He's really competitive. I've enjoyed racing him all season, so it was fun. I just wanted him to know that I was there.
Congratulations on your championship and on the third place finish. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out? Any thanks you want to give?
Absolutely. First and foremost, you guys for putting this league on and the broadcast. Dan Banners for everything he does for St. Clair behind the scenes. He's another reason why I wanted to get this so bad for him, because he does a lot behind the scenes to make sure that everything's organized for St. Clair College, and hopefully it's something that'll attract a lot of more students and past alumni to get in back into iRacing, or even experiment with iRacing and get into it. I think this looks pretty good on the resume. And McConey set up shop for all he does for me personally. Even jumping on board with these cars, he helps a lot with the road stuff, and just allowing everybody that's a part of St. Clair College that wants to run official racing to have a competitive setup. Yeah, it makes their time on iRacing a lot more enjoyable, and he's a great guy. So can't do it without all the support from everybody here.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great race and a great season. We'll hope to see you back for next season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great night.
You too. Take it easy. Ever the fierce but fair competitor, Robbie Vrabel Jr. He's been a pleasure to watch all season, as well as all of our drivers, including our student individual champion who's decided to stop by the booth, Jared Kaler, another driver from UNC Charlotte. First of all, congratulations on the student championship. You are now officially the student champion. But also, I bet it must have been great to see your teammate Santiago Tires make his first and only season start and bring it home with a win as well.
Yeah, I mean it was. I didn't even know he was gonna race today, and I was trying to like get my computer to work because that's what's been happening is I haven't been able to get my computer to run. And then I was like trying to get that to work, and I saw he joined the session. I was like, oh, all right. I mean, sure, if he wants to carry the UNCC banner, I'm fine with that. But it sucks not being able to do the last race with the computer not working. But had enough points accumulated up throughout the rest of the season that it was okay.
Hello, Jared Kaler. Congratulations on the student championship.
Thank you.
I want to know, what was your thought if you were to race in this one, if you didn't have any technical issues? I want to know, what is it that you would have done different, because even though you have already clinched the championship, was there something that you wanted to do in this race if you were to participate in it?
I mean, I like Homestead. I think it's one of the best tracks on iRacing. So I mean, I wanted to do it just because it's fun. I mean, I did. You mean in terms like compared to Santi, or just in general?
All right, fair enough.
Or just in general. Yeah.
Um, I mean, no, I don't think I would have done anything different. I mean, the lines are. I like the bot. I don't really like the bottom running compared to like the Gen 6, where you can kind of maybe use that upper groove. But I mean, it looked exciting. I was watching Esteban stream as well, and it was pretty exciting there in the back going around those guys.
Really fun for you. You didn't do any at the race, but you still got the championship regardless. And Santiago Tires took the UNC Charlotte victory for you. Congratulations on the student championship, however. Great
Thank you.
job. And do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
I'd just like to thank you guys for putting it on and putting it on the stream, and everyone that tunes in and watches. It's been a fun season, and we'll see what happens next year or next season.
We'll see what happens next season indeed. I'll probably be there. I don't know. But you guys made it look so easy and tough at the same time in these races. Regardless, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jared. We'll catch you next season, buddy.
Thank you.
Jared, a multi-time CiL Cup Series champion, obviously held in very high regard here in the CIL. So we've talked to our winners. We've talked to our championship winners. I believe we still have some calculations to do as to our overall college alumni championship winner. But just to reiterate, our Student Cup Series champion is Jared Kaler, and he will win it for his school, UNC Charlotte. And our alumni individual champion is Robbie Vrabel Jr. He will win it for St. Clair College. So Edwin, that's it for us. Looking back at the season, looking back at this race, what do you think were some of your biggest takeaways?
My biggest takeaway is I'm more surprised that there are more cautions happening throughout the races I've seen. It's like almost like there's a huge difference in experience when it comes to these students from different universities merged together. It's like they all know about sim racing, but the way they apply it into every race that we have seen so far, it's dramatically different. That's why we see a lot of cautions happen. That's why we see a lot of fast drivers like Santiago Tires come in and show the field how it's done. And it's really useful knowledge because it's going to help me and it's going to help other people who are watching in and tuning in and understand how is it that you need to drive so that way you can be consistent, you can be fast, you can not be in trouble all the time, and what is it that you need to do on pit stops. And that's what's really beneficial about watching this series.
And something that I've noticed this season is that this is some of the best racing that we've had in the CIL. We may not have had the biggest field sizes, but the racing was just incredible with these next gen cars. It's been a ton of fun to watch it here from the booth. I participated in the Talladega race at the beginning of the season, and that was a blast too. So you never know. I might make a start next season as well. But this racing has been great. It's been a pleasure to watch. The drivers have been leaving every bit of everything out on the track. And it's just been a ton of fun all the way around. And I'm excited to see what next season holds. So, with the season wrapped up, let's take a look at your official results from Homestead Miami Speedway, the championship race. Santiago Tires, I finally picked a winner. Let's go. I'm 1 for like 80 something in that. But Santiago Tires from UNC Charlotte takes it home as the winner. Thomas Toomey, second place. The alumni from University of Virginia, the Cavaliers. St. Clair College's Robbie Vrabel Jr. will round out the podium with the third position. Rest of the top 5, Ryan Whitlock from UAH, Andrew Williams from Clemson University. Colin Culpa finishes 6th from University of Indiana. Ryan Lusich from UNT will bring it home 7th. Kenneth Talbot in 8th from UAH as well. Nick Maloch, another St. Clair College driver, brings it home 9th. And Nick Stockner from Clemson University will round out your top 10. Moving on down into our teens, Jordan Rickey, 11th from UAH. Alex Gagnon from Robert Morris will finish 12th. Jeff Pete finishes 13th from UMN Twin Cities. Purdue driver Andrew McCall will finish in 14th. Ethan Head from University of Tennessee Knoxville in 15th. Alexander Hogarth finishes 16th at St. Clair College. Jonathan Appleton, another UAH Charger Motorsports driver, brings it home 17th. Hagen Johnson, after a very eventful night, finishes 18th from Clemson University. Looking further on down the order, Athena Leclerc, two St. Clair Colleges. Two St. Clair College drivers finished 19th and 20th, and Athena Leclerc and Tyler Stone. Andrew Burrell, another Clemson University driver, in 21st. Alex Hallinar, after a bad luck night, brings it home 22nd from Birmingham. Binghamton University, excuse me, sorry. Esteban Munoz in 23rd from FIU. Scott Ratliff from Pittsburgh State will be scored in 24th. Matthew Nordberg, after some unfortunate technical issues, will bring it home 25th for NC State. And our last drivers, Matthew Tucker from Jacksonville State, Jeremy Millerin from Purdue, rounding out your 26th and 27th positions. So, that being said, Robbie Vrabel has been confirmed the alumni champion. So, that'll do it for all of us here at the CIL. That wraps it up for Season 5. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep your eye out for when Season 6 begins in the fall. Y'all stay fast.